Fox Business Alert, the shot clock is on, and so is the pressure on Paramount Skydance, which now has 6 days left to make its best and final offer to buy Warner Brothers Discovery. Right now, P-Sky's current offer stands at $30 per share, all cash, with a few sweeteners that have been thrown in recently. The 7-day shot clock was made public yesterday and was actually granted by Netflix, which already has a deal accepted by Warner Brothers Discovery to merge. But it allows Warner to weigh what could end up being a richer offer by Paramount. Why would Netflix do that? Joining me now in a Fox Business exclusive is Aaron Teitelbaum. He's currently partner at Crescent Powers and is counsel for Netflix. He also served as the senior litigation counsel for the Department of Justice's Antitrust Division from 2022 to 2025. Aaron, awfully good of you guys at Netflix to make that kind of offer and grant this window to Warner Brothers to negotiate with Paramount. But why?
Well, I think really it's a reflection of our understanding that the Paramount Skydance's rhetoric around this transaction has really just become a distraction. And we are confident that our offer is superior, both from an economic standpoint and in terms of antitrust risk. And so we really just wanted to give Warner Brothers shareholders an opportunity to engage with Paramount Skydance one more time. It's a reflection of our confidence in the solidity and the merit of the Netflix offer.
Okay, so the Netflix offer is $27.75 per share with a $5.8 billion breakup fee. What is Netflix's plan? What would you advise, since you are the counsel to Netflix, if Paramount suddenly comes through with a $31 or $32 a share offer?
I think the dollar amount can keep going up. The problem is it doesn't do Warner Brothers shareholders any good if the deal is not going to get through. And there are some very serious antitrust concerns surrounding the Paramount Skydance offer that do not exist for the Netflix transaction. Paramount Skydance is already the owner of a major movie studio. It is going to reduce the number of major movie studios down from 5 to 4 in acquiring Warner Brothers. This is not the sort of concern that exists with the Netflix and Warner Brothers deal.
Okay. The president has indicated that he might not agree with that. He was on the red carpet for the Melania documentary a couple of weeks ago. Somebody asked him about it, I believe it was Deadline Hollywood, and he said, well, you know, Netflix and Warner Brothers together, they could have too much control when it comes to streaming. So where are you getting the belief that somehow the Paramount Skydance is the worst choice when it comes to regulatory approval?
Well, I think, for one, President Trump has also said that he plans to let this process play out on the merits, and we very much agree with and appreciate those sentiments from the president. On top of that, where I'm getting the notion that there is less of an antitrust concern is just from looking at the economics and from the actual analysis that antitrust enforcers, like my former colleagues at the Department of Justice, are going to do when they look at both of these transactions. They are going to see that when we're talking about the Netflix transaction, it's combining two sets of assets that are really fundamentally complementary. Netflix does not compete head-to-head to a substantial degree with Warner Brothers, whereas with Paramount Skydance, it is a classic horizontal merger of exactly the type that DOJ and other antitrust enforcers have successfully blocked in the very recent past, including with the Penguin Random House transaction.
I can see why they hired you, because when you were at the DOJ, you co-led the trials of JetBlue Airways' acquisition of Spirit Airlines, and that never happened. You guys fought against it, so now you're on the other side. You know the minds of the antitrust regulators, although who knows if the Trump administration is going to decide to be a little friendlier to these types of mergers. That said, at what price? What do you need to do to make sure that it gets the deal over the finish line with this DOJ?
I think really what all that we need to do here is present the honest facts and the honest economics. I think I will note that the current head of the antitrust division has been a very outspoken proponent of vigorous antitrust enforcement. We have a lot of the same career staff that were present when I was at DOJ, and I think that the very smart antitrust enforcers, both at the Department of Justice and at the state attorneys general, are going to see that Netflix's acquisition of Warner Brothers is not going to meaningfully increase the concentration in any relevant market, which means that it's not going to harm consumers. In fact, it's going to give consumers more for the money that they're already paying, and it's going to be a very positive development for competition in the TV viewing markets.
I got a couple of questions that are hypothetical. Let's say you guys get the deal and it somehow passes muster through the Department of Justice. That process is very long. It could take months and months and months. Paramount's offered this so-called ticking fee, knowing that if they get the nod, and it still has to go through all kinds of regulatory approval with the United Kingdom and the European Union, et cetera, they're going to be paying shareholders every quarter that the deal takes to finally pass muster and to be completed. Is Netflix ready to come up with, would you advise Netflix to be ready to come up with that type of sweetener as well?
I think as I sit here, I think what I would advise Netflix is that we are in pole position. We are the only acquirer with a board recommended and signed deal because our offer is superior from an economics and an antitrust perspective. And so we really don't need to sweeten it beyond where it's already sweetened, because as I said at the beginning, I think Liz, the most important thing is that it doesn't do very much good to have a really large offer if that deal's actually never going to get through in the end.
Okay, so there's so many pieces to this, and we've been covering it. Will costs go up for the consumers who want to stream both HBO Max, which of course is under the Warner Brothers umbrella, and Netflix, if they were to combine? We've been told by Cleet Williams, who is the government affairs guy over at Netflix, he told us that, that there will be a cheaper option. That said, I want to address the Hollywood creator community issue that both sides have, Paramount Skydance and Netflix. What percentage of the TV entertainment buying power would you control in the case of an approved merger, meaning that the buying power, what buying power would you have for TV shows? I'm talking long form, not live sports programming or anything like that. Because they're worried that there will be fewer buyers and Netflix will control so much of the wallet and the choice to purchase scripts and projects.
I don't have those exact numbers at my fingertips, but what I can say that I think the creative community should be most concerned about is the substantial increase in buying power that would come from Paramount acquiring Warner Brothers, because they will have what we believe to be in the high 30 percentage points of market share for major theatrical film releases. And so that's going to be really a tremendous amount of buying power in that market. And that should be a major concern to people who work on those films.
Well, Aaron, please come back. We're continuing to watch this. We're continuing to cover it. Netflix shares were down earlier. They are now up 1.5%. Thank you for coming in to talk about it.
Thanks so much, Liz. Appreciate it.